Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball Podcast, episode 103. I'm Adam Miller, and I'm here with Jaren Will each and every week, and we are going to be bringing you the news and notes on all 11 Division I schools in the state of Indiana, because in 49 states,
it's just basketball.
We are only, I guess, 2 weeks in to the season, and we've already had an overlapping game with our show, which I feel like didn't happen for a long time last year. There weren't late Sunday games, I feel like. There were a few times where we had like one game going on, but this year's happened early. So if you're watching the Purdue game, understandable. Hopefully you'll join us later, or maybe you can just multitask. We try and multitask. We're not the best.
Yeah. I mean, Purdue's up 20, so like you can probably divert your attention a little bit towards our show. Just mute the Purdue game and listen to us.
That works for me. I mean, we will also be talking about Purdue, so you get a double dose of Purdue.
True. And we are also watching the game on mute.
Yeah. So, no subtitles though. But they got.
You would be more distracted if there were subtitles than if the audio was on, Adam. Let's be real.
They've got a friend of the show, fellow high school classmate Rayfield Davis calling the game. So, and fellow Purdue alum, not a fellow Purdue alum, but a Purdue alum. So. That's nice. Glad he gets to call a Purdue game. I like when he gets to call Purdue games. I really like when, I like when Robbie Hummel calls any game. But it's always cool when he gets to call a Purdue game that they aren't getting, beaten by Rutgers right when they become number one. But week 2's over, except for the Purdue game. That is 13, 14 minutes left. So let's talk about our power rankings. Quite a big shakeup. I mean, obviously, there's only the second time that we've changed them since the preseason. But our biggest change for sure. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of schools moved. So let's talk about it.
I thought you were going to steal my thunder, and I was about to.
Of course not.
Reach over and murder you. All right. So as Adam mentioned, some shakeups, but this week's power rankings. So at 11, we've got Southern Indiana. At 10, we've got Evansville, and at 9, we've got Purdue Fort Wayne. So those are kind of a shift down. Southern Indiana stayed the same. Evansville dropped a couple spots. Purdue Fort Wayne dropped a couple spots as well. Really, they were both 7 and 8 before. Now they are 9 and 10, so dropping a couple just because those three teams have not won a Division I game yet. So had some close games, but because they have not, we felt it was only reasonable that they dropped down, because it doesn't make sense to us to have teams below them that have won Division I games. So at 8, we've got IU Indy, who jumped up 2 spots. That was really a big reason for the Evansville Purdue Fort Wayne drop. Then at 7, we've got Ball State, who they were at 5. They dropped back to 7. Lost a couple games that were close, but probably should have pulled out. And with that there were still teams below them that they got big wins. So kind of just a circumstantial situation for their drop. At 6, we've got Indiana State. They probably had the biggest move, I think, of all of our teams this week. They were previously at 9. They are up to 6, so that's 3 spots. I think any of the other ones only moved 2 spots, so big jump for them. At 5, we've got Valpo, moving up 1 spot from last week. They are undefeated at home. They have a winning record. They're 3-1, so things are looking pretty successful up in Valparaiso, so we wanted to reward them for that. At 4, we've got Butler. At 3 is Notre Dame. They're in the same spot. Pretty interchangeable, really. Like you can kind of flip a coin, and either it'd be like a 3A and a 3B, really, in our mind. And then at 2 is Indiana. 2 wins, right? They're still undefeated, 4-0, but Purdue had to move up to 1. They do have the biggest win in college basketball right now. So it didn't make sense that even though Indiana was 1 last week, it didn't make sense for Purdue to not be 1 this week, especially because Indiana did have a pretty close game against Incarnate Word. That kind of dropped them down.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this possibility last week when we were talking about how, Indiana moved to number 1 in our power rankings last week. We were saying that, they have the better win. They have the best win of the Indiana teams. They beat Marquette in Chicago. that moved them up to 1 because they just had a better resume at that point than Purdue did. And so then obviously we said, okay, Purdue's going to go to Alabama. If they win that game, they're obviously going to be number 1. That will not only be the best win in the state, that will be the best win in college basketball. And that happened. So they move up to number 1. So they spent 1 week not at number 1 this year, and it's going to be hard for them not to run the table with what they're doing there. So just very, very impressive win by Purdue, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's kind of get into, that Ball State. But before that, I just want to say, yeah, Jaren said Indiana State was a big mover from 9 to 6. They moved because they, Division I wins obviously matter. Like, I don't want to say that wins not against D1 teams don't matter, but you truly don't know how good that team is. And so we really will count D1 wins, and especially when you have a lot of them like Valpo, we will take that very seriously. So let's kind of, just keep it rolling here. We're going to talk about Ball State. So Ball State went down just a little bit in the Torvik rankings. They ended last week at 226, and they ended this week at 241. They had a bit of a rough week. They were 0-2 this week, and they went 2-2 overall. So, not a good week for Ball State, and one of those, you expect to lose. You're at Wisconsin, you lose 86-55. It's a Wisconsin team in the Kohl Center, which, is a curse for Indiana University. I don't know if it's a curse for Ball State, but when you're going into a Power 5 school in a bye game, you're just hoping to compete a little bit. And that unfortunately didn't happen. They got blown out, and then they followed that up hoping to get another home win, and they lost that one to a team out of the OVC, Little Rock. They lost 68-62. So, not the best showing for Ball State. They kind of got bodied on the glass against Little Rock, got doubled up in rebounds, and had the game close, but then late Little Rock went on a little 10-0 run, and then that's just kind of it. So,
well, and it didn't help either that Ball State was just absolutely broke from 3. They made as many shots as Little Rock did, but they took twice as many. So that's just, if shots aren't falling, you gotta adjust the offense a little bit and go after the shots that are going to make it. That's just, I think, what it boiled down to.
Yeah, just
from an offensive perspective, really.
Yeah,
when
and
you factor out rebounds and the glass.
And this is not a bad team. This is the team that's currently leading the Ohio Valley, and so I feel like top of the Ohio Valley is going to be able to compete with the MAC teams of the world, and they showed that going in and winning at Ball State. So you would obviously like to have this win, but they didn't lose. It's not a terrible loss either. So not like it's going to sink their season. Let's move on to Butler. They went up a little bit here. They went from 83 to 75 over in Torvik. They had a 1-1 week, so that brings them to 3-1 overall. So pretty good season, and 2 weeks in, but this game I think is going to just hang over Butler's head. Not the Chicago State game that they won 98-66. It's the loss at SMU where they were up and they ended up losing 87-85. They just could not pull it off, man. And had the last second shot, had the chance to win it, and just let it fall apart in the middle to even end up in that spot. And Finley Bizjack is a wizard, but he doesn't have unlimited magic, it seems. His shot did not go.
Yeah, I mean, in general, he had 5 made threes for the second consecutive game, so you love to see that for him. And I mean, Ajayi had 4th straight double-double. So the dude's just a double-double machine. But they just got dominated inside. They gave up 62 points in the paint to SMU, which is just absolutely insane. I just, when you only score 87 points, but 62 of them are in the paint, I could see 62 if the score's 110. Right, that to me feels a pretty decent spread of scoring, but 62 of the 80 7.
And that does feel like, like Butler is obviously the highlight of Butler is their guard play.
Yeah.
And, Ajayi obviously, but he's not a center.
No, no.
He's not 7 foot, so he's not going to be, giving you what you want from, a rim protection standpoint and keeping that, people out of the lane. But
it's like it's a trade-off to me. We've complained so long about rebounding, and they didn't rebound great in this game,
right,
compared to their other 3 games. But they had 7-footers the last couple of years. Their rebounding sucked.
Well, yeah.
Now the rebounding is, we'd say, pretty great, but they just don't have any 7-footers that are going to help defend in the paint. So it's the give and take.
But like
SMU is also a good team.
Yeah, that's true.
It
was their first road game of the season, but like the way that the Big East is kind of trending is, remember how last year the Big East was like every night quad 1 opportunity, basically.
Yep.
Does not look like it's going to be the case this year. The Big East looks kind of down.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you would love to have this. They have more quality teams coming up in the next 2 weeks that are going to be like very good resume builders.
Mm-hmm.
But a 2-point loss, like you're gonna want this one back. Hopefully this is not like
one of those things that lingers over their head, and
like
come April.
Yeah, like March. If you're sweating out Selection Sunday, you're on the bubble. You look at this game and you go, if we win that game, we are in.
Yeah,
like we are in.
Yeah.
So
let's
talk about Evansville.
Evansville. Yep, they went down in Torvik. They're 236 down from 228. They did go 0-1 this week. Only team that played 1 game, I believe. But that's just because they played 3 last week, so it balances out a little bit. They are 2-2, so with the 1 loss brings them to 2-2. They lost to Middle Tennessee 77-72. So again, we talked about their power rankings. Have not won against a Division I opponent. Main takeaway from the Middle Tennessee game for me is that 3 is greater than 2.
One-time math major, guys. He knows.
Like MTSU, they shot way more threes, and they made over twice as many as Evansville. The crazy thing is Evansville led pretty much every other category. They led in points off turnovers, second chance points, bench points, fast break points, points in the paint, made free throws and free throw percentage, assists, field goal percentage. Evansville led in all of those, except for the number of 3-pointers made. And
you remember all last year we would always say, and we talked about this. I think
I don't think it was. I think we're off. We're IRL.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
We were talking about this, like, tale of 2 halves.
Yep.
Just always tale of 2 halves.
Yep.
And this one wasn't exactly that, because it was within 1 half, basically, that they got absolutely destroyed, and they were down 22 with 10 minutes left, and then they just go on an ungodly 33-13 run. Like, they just locked in, just ran out of time.
Yeah.
45-minute game, they win. They win. Or if they kick it into gear with 12 minutes left, like, they win this game. Just another one that's like, dude, you really want to have this game back.
Yeah. Let's go on to Indiana. Stayed the same in Torvik.
Just kind of crazy.
Very crazy. They did go 2-0 this week. They are 4-0 overall, like I mentioned in our power rankings. They won over Milwaukee 101-70, which is a great win, right? Milwaukee's a really good team. And then they won over Incarnate Word 69-61. A lot closer than we wanted, that we would have liked. Indiana was up 19 at one point in the second half, and then just kind of, I don't know if they got tired or what, that kind of just sucked.
I think the only thing you can blame it on is that their football team's 11-0 for the first time literally ever, and so, you got to celebrate.
Yeah.
That was last night, and probably, I was telling you off air, I was like, they had a late game today. Last night they were like, you know what? We'll be okay.
Yeah. And I think I saw this take on the internet earlier, is Indiana fans, I think, needed a game like this kind of bring them back down to earth a little bit, is
Yes.
Indiana's, they're going to beat teams that they probably shouldn't, right? And they might lose a game or two that they probably should win. That's just how this team is kind of built. And we saw that today. They won, which is great. But if they dropped this game one, it'd be doom central for Indiana fans, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, on paper, this is a better team than Milwaukee. Literally one spot higher than Milwaukee and Torvik, 185 and 184. Not a better team than Marquette, although, Marquette basically has done nothing but lose since they lost to Indiana.
Yeah.
But, Marquette is a better team than Incarnate Word. And, like, this is one where I think if this is last year's Indiana squad, they lose this game.
100%.
100% they lose this game, or they win by one, or something like.
Or something dumb. But
yeah. This team, this team does have fight. Like, I would have liked to have seen a bigger win, but in the end they got the win. That's really all that matters. Like, for reference, Indiana was like, what, 28.5 point favorites. Incarnate Word is like 6.5 point favorites to Southern Indiana later next week. So, like, that's about the level of, like, where they are.
Yeah.
Like, they're closer to Southern Indiana in level than they are to IU and Marquette. But, they win. That's really all you can say. I haven't looked at the official box score, but I was, like, ready to call the shooting curse dead.
Yeah,
after
so
they was hitting a million threes for the first 4 games.
So they had made 10 plus threes in every game so far as of the Milwaukee game. They were 5 of 24 from 3 today.
Yeah. And you can maybe attribute some of that to Lamar Wilkerson being out with foul trouble. He's obviously been he's good for 4 to 5 on his own.
I mean, they still shot 24, which is pretty on par for them. They they shoot between 24 and 30 a game, which is wild to say. But
over how many games? Just one? Indiana?
I do want to point out Sam Alexis just continues to be him. I've said it since the beginning. I think that he is probably their most underrated transfer in from this past off season. I mean, he led the team in scoring with 16, and then the bench in general, and by bench I mean Sam Alexis and Trent Sensley, had 25 points.
Hey, Nick Dorn's back.
Nick Dorn is back. He just unfortunately couldn't get it going today, and neither did Josiah Miles. But either way, win's a win. They got 2 of them this week. 4 of them so far. Let's go to Indiana State.
Yeah, they went up a decent amount here. They went from 253 up to 240, so that's a good showing for them, for the Sycamores. They went 1-1. They had a bye game, like they were being bought, I guess. They got paid to go to Duke. They lost that game 162, but they did have a good showing at SIUE, that's Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. They won that game 64-55, so they had a 1-1 week, and they're now 2-2 overall. So a really good win by the Sycamores going into SIU, and like the game was never really in doubt. Like once they kind of got that lead, they just kind of held on to it and kind of ballooned it. It's like, oh, it's going to be double digits. It's down to 6. It never felt like it was like a 2-point game. It was never like never felt like they were going to lose the game and had to fight to win. It was just like we're just trying to stay ahead, and they did that. And Camp Wagner was really good, 16 points. And shout out to the other guy on the other team, Jack Campion, former Screaming Eagle. Wish he was still at the Screaming Eagles, but basketball happens, and that's just the nature of the game these days. It was good to see him play again, because I always really enjoy watching Camp play.
Here's a couple of fun snippets. You actually told me this. Indiana State doubled up Duke at one point in the game against Duke. 14-7. But so Ian Scott, after the SIUE game, was the only player in the MVC averaging double-digit rebounds, and he is tied for second in the league in total offensive rebounds with 10. That was really cool to see. It did slightly decrease after the Duke game. He only had 3 rebounds, but it's kind of tough to do. You're just outmatched in terms of size.
It's kind of tough to have a bunch of rebounds when you got Cameron Boozer out there grabbing every rebound that comes his way.
Is true.
Or is able to.
Yep.
But I mean, like it's just Camp Wagner played well. Like Ian Scott, like we said, he always plays well. It feels like he just even a bad game is a good game.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be very consistent. And like this was so for the Missouri, the entire conference. This is the very first road win for the Missouri Valley when they won at SIUE, which is cool because Indiana State is not a team that is being talked about as like the top of the Missouri Valley. And this is part a scheduling thing, but also a part that like Drake has been a little bit disappointing already and has been dropping games uncharacteristically under as they were with McCollum and DeVries. But good week for the Indiana State. Anytime you go to anytime you're playing a top 10 team, like you expect to have a result like this. But really cool that they did get to go play in Cameron Indoor and have that experience. Obviously would like to win that game, but they, like you said, they doubled up Duke at once, so they can at one point, so they can say that forever.
Yep. IU Indy, they went up to Torvik 342 from 356. We kind of knew that they'd be on a gradual increase and Torvik ranking throughout the season. Obviously, naturally, they're going to start low, but they are a much better team than that. So I'm glad to see them moving up 20 spots in 2 weeks. So that's 10 spots a week pretty much.
If they keep this up.
If they keep this trend up, they're going to be ranked pretty high. I'm not going to do the math because we know how that will go.
He was a one-time math major. He's not a math major anymore, guys.
Correct. They did go 2-0 this week.
Yep.
And they are 2-3 overall. They had a win over IU Columbus, 121-77. And then they won at Eastern Michigan. True road win against a D1 opponent, 90-83. So 2-game win streak for the Jags. Love to see it. Little fun fact: it was their first win against Eastern Michigan since 2016. They've played 6 times in their second win ever. Little fun fact.
Nice.
IU Columbus game, great time. We were there. Tweeted about it. We always get a VIP experience from the IU Indy staff.
Yeah, and we're so appreciative of that. I mean, it was so fun. We got to, they clearly, trying to really connect to the community. They had like a VIP area for, certain people. I don't know if they were like season ticket holders or why. I didn't get into the nitty gritty of that, but like, they had some snacks. They had, seats, courtside seats for people, and we were down there. Got to sit, courtside. I ended up bringing my son. He got to come with us. He was shaking a pom pom. He was having fun.
Slamming chairs.
Got jumped over. He and I got jumped over. At one point, thought we were gonna die.
Which is actually, I actually want to go back and find the VOD from that game.
Yeah,
to see that. It would have been on the broadcast.
Yeah, it would.
Also,
we were right there.
Best play of the game was the ESPN broadcaster sitting directly next to us. Killed it. There was a fly. It was around us the entire game. Like, I don't know if Adam, if you noticed it.
It never got to me.
Oh, it was around you a couple times. Like I watched it, like fly around me, fly around you. It was kind of bugging us. It was bugging the ESPN Plus guys. And at one point, I think it was during a timeout or something. He rolls up his note sheet, smacks it, and kills it right then and there. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was cool. It's always fun when you get like down close at a game.
Yeah.
And IU Indy, then they play at I guess it's Corteva Coliseum. It's on ice. That's where the Fuel plays, right? Indy Fuel.
Yep.
And so it's on ice. So it's a little chilly down there. So you get to keep your jacket on, feel good with the jacket on. But awesome experience. Can't thank Lauren Gronke and Luke Bosso enough for just being willing to have us and supporting us as much as we try and support them. Because obviously we like to toot IU Indy's horn a lot, and
yep.
They are very kind to us in return and giving us a lot of experiences that we never thought we would get when we started this little thing. But thanks so much to them, and can't wait to be back next year. Set a record, like almost
breaking attendance,
like 5,500 something
around there. Yeah.
So many kids. They went, as you would expect, insane when they got to 67 points. It was
we do have a video of it on our Twitter if you want to go find that.
It's just cool because like a lot of schools are doing this, like PFW has an education day, Evansville had an education day, like
Iowa
this.
State.
Yeah, this is, IUND obviously had one that was pretty high profile in my mind. And it's just so cool because to me, this is the stuff, like we were talking, I think maybe on the way down, that like this is the stuff that builds like lifelong fans to me. Is you get an elementary schooler who may or may not be able to afford going to a basketball game, but like gets to go with their peers, their friends, and experience that, cheer when the score gets to 67 and like have that fun time, watch IUND score 121 points. And like that's just such a cool thing that they're going to remember, and then maybe they hopefully they become attached to IUND and they just keep going, and that's how you build a lifelong fan, because when they give things to you, you want to give things back to them. So I can't thank IUND for doing that enough, and I hope that they continue to do that in the upcoming years, because I think that the world has already latched on, the country has already latched on to IUND because they love their style, and Ben Howlett's just such a good dude, and I think everyone there is doing a great job. So let's talk about Notre Dame. They moved down ever so slightly, one spot, 61 to 62. They had a 1-1 week. They are 3-1 overall now. They won at home to Eastern Illinois, 78-58, in a game that was a little bit dicey. And then they ended up losing by 1 point, 64 to 63, at Ohio State. And so, Jaren, what do we take away from those two games?
Big thing for me, Jalen Harrelson starting to really, come alive.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really important for this team. Right? He played well in really both these games. He had 16 points, I think, against Eastern Illinois, and had about a dozen against Ohio State. The Eastern Illinois game was a little this is not great, but then Notre Dame pulled it off like we would expect. My big thing, and we talked about it or you talked about it rather, in the power rankings reel and TikTok that was posted. Notre Dame shot really well. Like they did a great job attacking the glass.
Yeah.
All game. Didn't shoot the three ball well. Very many times. Period.
Yeah, they didn't shoot it, and when they shot it, they didn't shoot it well.
Yeah, and game on the line. Obviously, the ball is in Marcus Burton's hands. That's the guy that you want the ball in his hands. We saw it several times last year, I think, where game on the line, it goes to him, and he's the one that makes the play, whether he makes it or misses. Right? It's kind of gone back and forth over his 3 years, or I guess 2 and some change years. He opted to pull up for a 3 to win the game. When he's just a guy just attack the glass.
Yeah, it looked like a guy who, it looked like he was trying to make a line drive, and then I don't know if he got tripped up or the defender stopped him or what. It looked like he didn't have the full. He realized he didn't have the first step, and so he stopped and pulled up. But I mean, Marcus Burton, no offense, like Marcus Burton is the guy that I want taking a lot of my last shots, but Marcus Burton is not the guy that I want taking a last second 3. Yeah. I mean, I would probably give it in Jalen Harrelson's hands first, and that's a close one. I would,
sure.
For sure, but I would almost be like, give it to Jalen Harrelson, and you probably have a better chance of it going in.
Yeah.
This is not the shot that you want if you're Notre Dame, and they had 3 timeouts in their pocket at the end. So he had 3 timeouts that he could call, didn't call any, and didn't drop a play with the 10 seconds left. And so, would have liked to seen it get to Shrews, or just try and drive it and get fouled or something. And that didn't happen. He pulled up the 3, missed. They lose by 1 after they were, really working hard, getting to the rim a lot. And I think that I don't know if they just, they didn't think the shots were going to be falling, or that was kind of their game plan, seeing, they're having trouble not stopping the thing.
Continue.
Am I too boring?
No,
am I boring you?
I'm posting about the IU Indy game.
Mm-hmm. It's all right, man. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Kill him.
Yeah,
He's gonna knock
they,
it, dude.
they were just doing a really good job of getting to the rim.
Yeah.
And Ohio State adjusted in the second half. They didn't get there as easily, but I was really impressed with the first half, especially. Let's talk about PFW. They went down from 213 to 223. They had a 1-1 week. They are 2-3 overall. They lost at Western Michigan 93-71, and then they won over Boyce, a school I've not heard of, 118-68.
They are.
I don't know. This was. Didn't get to watch that one, but Western Michigan, I mean, they lost by 22, and they were up double digits in the first half. And I feel like we've just seen them kind of lose leads and kind of fall. The team's young, a lot younger than last year's team, but they just it didn't even feel like they just got blown out the whole game, but it just felt like they just let Western Michigan just play how they wanted to play and take them and win however they wanted to win in the second half.
I think Boyce is NAIA. Seemingly. I don't know. They're part of the NCCAA.
Yeah, that's NAIA. Wait, NCCAA Division 2.
They've got Division 2 and Division 1, but it's not. Their Division 1 teams are like Grace. Grace is one of their Division 1 teams.
Okay. It's like the National Christian College Athletic Association or something.
I think so, because it says their tagline is the only intercollegiate athletics organization where #ring chasing and #king chasing converge.
Okay.
So that was the context.
Shout out to Boyce.
That I had.
But I mean, again, I don't. They scheduled so tough. Like, what is Western? I'm gonna pull up Western Michigan on Torvik because I'm curious as to what they are. But what do you have about PFW?
Just a couple of trends that I saw, just historically speaking. Right, I was interested in this. Purdue's played Western Michigan 4 times ever, or at least dating back to 03-04, and they've only won once, and that was 10 years ago. It was the 15-16 season. I thought this was a road game that PFW was going to be able to steal. Like, I'm fairly confident that Western Michigan was favored. Western Michigan is the better team on paper, especially when you're at their crib.
So they were Western Michigan's 257 in Torvik, and at the time of playing them, PFW was 214.
Okay.
So it's like a similar enough that it could be like they're not different in ranking. Obviously, they're lower ranked. It shouldn't have been it. Like, nothing on paper said there should be a 22-point loss, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's a big thing. Like, when I say steal, like, I mean, it was gonna be I thought it was gonna be a close game, and that Purdue Fort Wayne was gonna just come out on the other end, or the right end of it.
Yeah.
Man, Corey had not just tried his damnedest to pull this game off for them. He had 32 points. It just, no one else had more than 10.
Yeah.
I think, and like against a D1 team, you got to have someone with more. Like, you can't just rely only on one guy, and that's just what it boiled down to for me.
And like Mikhail Stevenson has been there. Like, he's been the guy who's been able to do that sometimes. But I feel like last year, Jalen Jackson, Rashid, Q, those 3 were good for like every game. You could count on them. You could average like 45 to 50 points between the 3 of them, like guaranteed.
Yep.
Corey Hadnot obviously has been like, given the reins, and he's been given the keys, and he's like doing what he can, but he just doesn't have the support, like you said. Like, he doesn't have all of the pieces around him to kind of win, I guess. I don't want to say that, but like
Yeah.
you could rely on other people. Like if Jalen Jackson doesn't need to make a play, like Rashid was going to make a play. Like
Or
there was
Q was
someone,
gonna make a play. Yeah.
and there's just less proven production around him, and I think that's kind of showing right now. Unfortunately, like we need to see some other people step up, and maybe it's part of he's been playing in Kaufman's system. A lot of the other people are new, but just kind of a disappointing result for sure.
Let's move on to Purdue. Just, I guess, stall for 40 seconds so we can update our records.
Yeah, Purdue's probably not going to score here. So right now Purdue is 97-79. So they're going to go 2-0 this week. That'll bring them to 4-0 on the season. Obviously, they went up one spot. I mean, this has not been updated since their win that they're about to do, but I imagine it probably won't change much. They went from 8th to 7th in Torvik. They won at Alabama. What was Alabama ranked? Like 9th? 8th. Yeah, they were a top 10 team. I believe it was 8th. That sounds correct. And they won 87-80. So they got a 7-point win. And then Akron's probably going to put up one attempt here. It's 97-79. So Purdue almost cracked 100. Yep, they missed it. So Purdue wins 97-79 against Akron. And let's just start with Alabama. This game is a tale of two halves, right?
Yep.
But where do you want to start?
Well, first off, I want to start by congratulating them on being the Hickory Team of the Week. Obviously, getting that win over Alabama, that puts them, really gives them the best win in all of men's college basketball this season, men's Division I college basketball this season. But this game really, it proved TKR's value. I think he had, a lot of people in the off season, a lot of analysts don't think that he's one of the best players in the country. That he should be up for awards for the best at his position. I think this proves the doubters wrong. Right? They played some pretty close games before this, but you add him into the mix, pair him up with his dynamic duo of Braden Smith. And both of them are just absolutely electric. TKR couldn't be stopped in the first half. I think I even texted Adam. I was like, okay, they're gonna try to eliminate him in the second half. Only scored 2 points in the second half, but then you got Braden Smith, who's able to feed off that energy and say, all right,
drops 21 in the second half.
It's like, all right, bet. Absolutely incredible win. That was the first non-conference road win over a top 10 team since 1982. So there was no way that I could sit here and look at that and be like, okay, how are they not the Hickory Team of the Week? So here they are, now going 2-0 this week after an incredible 87-80 win against Alabama to start the week on the road, especially.
Yeah, I mean, why wait? Why not just pull the trigger right now and announce that Jimmy Chitwood Player of the Week 2 is Braden Smith? It was a tough call between Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, but I felt like Braden Smith's 29 points, 21 of those happening in the second half there, 7 rebounds and 4 assists. I mean, he out-rebounded Alabama's front court. He out-rebounded both of their starting front court players, and he's, as Nate Oates called him, a 5'10" point guard, and made 5 3-pointers, just absolutely took over this game. And he sat for like 7 or 8 minutes with foul trouble in the first half. Didn't matter. He came out and took this game over and said, we're not leaving without a win, and showed everyone that they are not the number 2 team in the country. So showed why he's the National Player of the Year favorite. And Braden Smith deservedly gets the Jimmy Chitwood Award this week.
And that's going to make editing real easy.
There you go. Shout out to Matt Painter.
Yeah, 500th career win.
You know what was probably the most surprising thing to me about that is that they said Mick Cronin already has 500 wins.
Yeah,
I did not know he had that many wins.
I was going to say this now makes Matt Painter the 4th active head coach in the Big Ten to hit 500 career wins.
Yeah,
Dana Altman, Mick Cronin,
Izzo,
and a legend.
Of course, Tom Izzo. Yeah,
Like he's
the most Big Ten wins ever.
Yeah. Didn't realize this after the Bama game. I guess now after the Akron game, but Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer started their 113th consecutive game against Alabama. But set a school record for most consecutive starts. I didn't realize that over their careers, neither of them had missed.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
I know. Like, no injury, nothing. No injury that's kept them out.
Well, now it's at 114, and it's just only going to keep going up until one of them misses for some reason.
Purdue operates a little bit differently, obviously, than the rest of the country because they have kept their big three have stayed for 4 years. Trickhoff ran 5 because he redshirted, but I don't think we'll see something like that. I mean,
for very many teams,
especially because like if you're starting at a mid-major for like 3 years in a row, you're probably up transferring.
Yeah.
Or you're not playing 37 games a year,
Yeah.
You're just not getting as many games. But man, I mean, Trey Kaufman-Renn grabbed a career high rebounds. What was it? 15 was it 15?
I don't remember.
Against Alabama. Well, he grabbed 15 against Akron again.
Yeah.
And I think people, I guess we didn't drop them to 2 in our power rankings. We moved Indiana up because Indiana had a better win. They had a better resume. It wasn't us necessarily saying Indiana is a better team.
Right.
You're saying Indiana's resume is better than Purdue's right now.
Yeah.
You put them at 1. People who were voting for Purdue in the AP poll dropped them to 2 because they had a 10-point win against Oakland, presumably. Yeah. Well, they didn't have Trey Kaufman-Renn. It's silly to drop them for that reason. So they should be at number 1 on Monday. If they're not, it's ridiculous. They had the most number 1 first place votes. They should be at number 1. They beat a top 10 team on the road by 7. Houston beat a top 25 team by 1 on the road. So, they should be at number 1 is all I want to say. So shout out to Matt Painter for getting a 500th win, and Braden Smith for being Chitwood, and Purdue for being the
Victory Team of the Week.
Yep. Southern Indiana,
they are currently 213 in Torvik. That is down 3 spots from 313, down 3 spots from 310. They did go 1-1 this week. They're 1-3 overall. They got their first win. Unfortunately, it was to a non-Division 1 team. But they lost at South Dakota 89-74, and they won over Loras 91-74.
It looked promising against South Dakota, right out the gate, and then the wheels just kind of fell off.
Yeah. I mean, there were just a lot of runs back and forth in that game, right? And South Dakota just ended up on the winning half of those runs, the right side of those runs. Every time South Dakota went on a run, USI kind of went on a run of their own to bring it close. And then it just kind of South Dakota would go on a big run. USI would go on a kind of big run.
Mm-hmm.
Then South Dakota would go on a run. And then USI would go on a kind of run. And it was just every run. It was back in a game of runs, but South Dakota was always scoring more in those runs than USI was able to kind of catch up to.
Yeah.
And then, they just went down pretty big to start the second half. And it was just one of those situations where they weren't able to come back from it, unfortunately.
Yeah, they Caden Brown looked pretty good. Ismail Habib was pretty good. They were 18 and 19 respectively points. Just, man, I hope where are they going? The Bahamas soon?
Yeah.
Daytona? They're going to Florida.
Yeah.
They're going to Florida, so hopefully they can get it together there.
Still waiting for our plane tickets. But...
yeah, they're coming. They're coming, right?
Yeah. You're right.
Let's talk about Valpo. They made a significant jump here. They went from 295 to 274, up 21 spots in Torvik. They had a 2-0 week, and that brings them to 3-1 overall. They won their first game this week against Nicholls State, 68-63, and then they won against Bryant, 68-50. And I think the story of these two games is Raheem Chaney is a dog. That dude is ultra efficient. He can score from anywhere, and he is just so consistent and so good. And, it's just another freshman who is just very good under Roger Powell. I'm not certain what the rest of the Missouri Valley did this week, but I would not be surprised if he's not the Missouri Valley Player of the Week, and if he's not, at least he should be Missouri Valley Freshman of the Week.
Yeah,
because he was very good.
Little fun fact: Chaney became the 5th after the Bryant game. Chaney became only the 5th Valpo freshman since 2010 with 18 or more points and 8 or more rebounds in a game. He's the 5th.
That's impressive.
Can you name? He's a free throw. First free throw of the season. Can you name 2 of the other 4?
The 5th Valpo freshman with 18 or more points and 8 or more minutes. I'm going to say Cooper Schwieger.
Okay.
Is one.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Sorry.
Is the other one all right?
It is not.
2 of the 4.
I looked at the list of 4, and I set the line at 2 intentionally because I felt confident that you would get it. It's a guy that wasn't there while we've been covering them, but it is one of those freshmen, one of those players that they've had that has just been pretty.
Is there now?
No. These are not active.
I don't know.
Alec Peters is who I thought you would get of the. I thought you'd get Cooper. I thought you'd potentially get Alec. But Sheldon Edwards, Alec Peters did it 3 times. And then Ryan broke off. Those are the 4. So it was. I'd say the line was probably like a 1.5.
Yeah.
Right. And I
felt like a given.
Yeah. I thought you'd maybe go all right. But Alec Peters was just another name that I know you know.
The rebounds are the one that made me think it's probably not all right, but I had to go with all right anyway.
Yeah, for sure. If it was assist, probably.
Yeah.
They're off to their best start since the 1920 season. The 19-20 season. The 19-20. The 2019-2020 season.
Go. I was shook. There's no way. That cannot be real.
They're 3-1, which is their best 4-game start to a season.
You tell me Homer Drew never started out 3-0 ever? So I was scheduling like Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky to start.
After the Nichols game too, Valpo had held their opponents to exactly 63 points in each of their last 3 victories.
I thought that was so interesting.
2 this season, Eastern Illinois, Nichols, and then last in the MVC quarterfinal last year against UNI. Thought that was really, really interesting.
And I talked about Cameron Boozer earlier. He and Raheem Chaney have something in common. Raheem Chaney is just the 2nd freshman nationally with a 24.6 rebound game with 8 made field goals and 4 made threes this season. And the only other one is Cameron Boozer. So good company.
Yeah.
Some good company. Like if you're, it's it feels a little bit like one of those stats where we're like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What can we? He's the first guy to have 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and call his mom twice in a week. It's like
it feels like one of those stats, but still,
it's impressive.
He's
very impressive.
He's in the company of a lottery pick.
Yeah,
which I'm glad, and I'm
in the player of the year.
I'm glad you brought up Boozer earlier. Just because I knew that you had that stat written down because I also wrote it down.
Yeah.
And then looked at what you wrote. I was like, okay, I'm just going to delete it because you're going to bring it up. Yeah, I mean, Chaney's just a dog. It's so one of those. It's Roger Powell. We talked about it last week. The magic they're able to do with freshmen, guys are able to come in and just like be dominant.
Honestly, like the NIL, might actually benefit Roger Powell in the way that he can get dudes that he knows are good but that are slept on because they're not immediate contributors at big schools.
Yeah, because big schools are always going to go to transfers first. Yeah,
he's
5-star recruits.
And he'll be like, dude, like, I recognize your talent. I know like how good you are. Like, come play for me, and we'll get you there. Like, we'll get you there, and they'll want you more.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper's done pretty much as expected at Wake.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were talking about it last week of like, he was averaging, close to 20 a game.
Yeah.
At Valpo, right over his 2 years. But then when you transfer up to like a place like Wake, higher competition, bigger, more physical opponents. If you're averaging, in the 8 to kind of 12 range, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Schwieger's at. Like, that's the last we looked. A couple of games that he's played, he's in that range, which is great. That's what you want to be. You're still making life-changing money.
Yeah, your earning potential is so much better if you go show out at a place like Valpo. I mean, really good start. I mean, there's just so many positive vibes here at Valpo right now, and that's what I love. Like, the Bryant game, like, they were up in the first half, and then they just went cold, and just Bryant went on a run, and it looked like they were going to absolutely get dog-walked in their house, and then they came back and just destroyed them and outscored them by 26 in the second half. Just took care of business, and feels like some momentum might be building. People might be showing up to games a little bit more now that they're 3-1. They've got some actual good wins against D1 teams around like similar level. So Roger Powell, really good job on the scheduling. Got to go play at Ohio State or not Kentucky. That was obviously going to be a tough one, but yeah, the only thing that I kind of really want to talk about, Jaren, is before we move on to the 49 states, is I pulled the data. Okay. I'm not the math major, but I pulled some data.
Well, I'm not the math major either.
Sorry, I'm not the one-time math major.
You were a one-time science major though, so like,
hey, education.
It was still science.
Chemistry. I didn't. I took 3 semesters of calculus. All right. Actually, technically, well, I took 1 year in high school and then 2 semesters in college. Anyway,
that is significantly more than me.
Calculus. I didn't do any math for this. I just pulled the data. I did not do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But Bart Torvik, you can set the data to pull from whatever parameters you want. So, like, I took out preseason, last season stuff that factors in, and this is just since the first day of the season till now. How do Indiana's teams stack up? Since the season started, if you only start on the very first day, till after this is obviously before the Purdue.
We'll say game. as of 9 p.m. on
today, the 16th,
November 16th.
Yeah. So as of then, from the beginning of the season, removing all preseason bias, all the stuff like the data that's built in, Indiana is the 10th team in the country. They're playing like the 10th best team in the country. That's after the Incarnate Word win.
Right.
So they have the 15th best offense. Number 2 is Purdue at 32. Before the Alabama win, they were the 65th best team in the country. So that Oakland game, I think, really set them back in that regard because, part of that is like Indiana's beating people by like 30 points. Louisville beat somebody by like 60, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of that's baked in. Notre Dame playing like the 48th best team in the country. Butler is the 46th best team in the country. So good returns early.
Yeah.
For our Power 5 teams. And then the one that I really wanted to point out is if you remove everything from last year and just talk about this year, IU Indy is our 5th best team in the country at 5th best team in the state at 208. So they're still like 342 or something.
Yeah.
208 if you remove all the stuff from last year. Like, if they win one of that coin toss game they had, they are probably top 200.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana State's 219th, Valpo's 222. So, like, really good. And then you have Ball State at 260, Purdue Fort Wayne at 295, Evansville at 310, and Southern Indiana at 346. I just felt like this gives you like a true picture of like how good IU Indy actually is.
Yeah.
Because different coach, literally a different roster entirely.
Yeah.
Completely different play style. And, it's like, okay, how good are they? Well, they have the 159th best offense in the country. Like, that's pretty dang good.
That's pretty good.
And they are, not even close, not even like beginning to peak.
Yeah.
Like IU Indy, like gonna trip some people up this year, and I feel like they got to win. What was it, Eastern Michigan? I feel like that was one where they just like actually got it by like Eastern Michigan's got worn down. Like they got worn down by IU Indy. The system worked.
That's where the system comes into play, and it shines.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Let's look at the games we've got next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the state, some bye games for some of our bigger schools, right? A big one that kind of stands out to me. It's the in-state matchup.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ball State at Indiana State down in Terre Haute. Currently, Indiana State they are 4-point favorites in there or for that game. That's November 22nd at 7 p.m. I think that's a good opportunity for. Is that Indiana State's first? No, they have a game earlier in the week. But to get a win there at home, but also Ball State an opportunity to steal a win on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be. I think I love seeing a spread that close for an in-state matchup because we truly believe. I think that a lot of these teams that match up can anyone can win at any point. So that'll be exciting. Obviously, it's hard for us to decide who we want to win that game because we want them both to win that game.
Tie.
And ties don't happen often.
I don't even know if there is a rule where they can end in a tie in college basketball.
I don't believe that there is.
But speaking of like road game opportunities, Valpo has one. They've won 3 games at home, and they lost their bye game to Kentucky. They are going to go to Cleveland State, and so it's their first true road test of the season. That there's like I guess a winnable game. Like
winnable road test. Yeah.
They are 5.5-point underdogs there. I think that they're going to be able to really compete, and I think this is really going to put Roger Powell's team to the test there. What was the other one that I was looking at? Oh, both games for Butler are very important. At South Carolina.
South Carolina.
So many are like Southern, whatever. Anyway, South Carolina, they at South Carolina on the 21st. They're 3-point favorites, and then they are also playing at home. Home versus Virginia. They're 6.5-point underdogs there. So good week for some wins that we talked about to kind of make up for not getting that SMU win. Like you need to have. I think we said we wanted them to go 2-1.
I think so.
Or 3-1. I think they have like one more big game, maybe like a Northwestern game or something coming up eventually. But like one loss would be very good, and so they need to win both of these.
Yeah, and then PFW still looking for a Division I win. They've got 2 really tough matchups this week. They're at Utah on the 18th at 9 p.m. They're 15.5-point dogs there, and they're also on the 21st at 8 p.m. at St. Louis, where they're 18.5-point dogs. So, really need a Division I win. It is going to be a tough week for them to try and achieve that. So, hopefully, the game against Boyce kind of gives them some encouragement to try and steal one of these games on the road.
Yeah,
since they're going to be away from home for seemingly they're not going to come home. They're going to go to Utah and then hit up St. Louis on the way home. I imagine they're probably taking a bus. So
yeah, it'll be out for a while.
Long trip. I don't think they would fly.
I don't think so. Well, we'll know.
Other than that, obviously tune in to any of these games. A game every day. Yep. So
and we're getting close to feast week. Like this is like the appetizer week. Before the all the like Thanksgiving MTEs start, and so you get the start of some MTEs here. Like I think
games start Thursday.
Is Southern Indiana's Incarnate Word game in the MTE?
I believe so, because that's where they.
Yeah, and then they've got another one on the 22nd. They just don't know who it's going to be yet.
Yes.
So MTEs are starting. Like the Purdue's headed somewhere, I think, too. So they've got some good ones. But
Baha Mar starts.
Yeah. But we talked last week. What did we say? Seth Trimble broke his arm in practice.
Yep.
Little update on that. Turns out he was stretching on like a pull down machine and it wasn't bolted down, and it fell on him, broke his arm, and took 4 dudes to get it off of him. So Seth Trimble's about to be rich. That's what I hear.
Richer.
Richer. Yeah.
You already know he got the bag.
Yeah.
NIL.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure Hubert was screaming at people.
I would not be surprised if at least one person was fired. At least.
Oh, and you know someone else had to go down and make sure every piece of equipment was bolted down.
Oh, for
every
sure.
single thing after that.
Almost assuredly.
Oh, yeah.
Almost assuredly.
That's just, I feel bad, man. That's especially after they like had a good win, and it's like, oh, they're promising. Oh, he broke his arm in quite possibly the stupidest way ever.
Yeah. Something that it was literally out of his control.
Yeah.
And he was just literally trying to stretch, and it just stretched a little too hard.
Sure. He's too strong.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his own strength.
Yeah.
He needs to stay out of the weight room.
That's
he will
true.
for a couple weeks.
Weeks?
Couple weeks? Like 8,
months?
probably? I don't know, man.
What else happened this week?
Grace women's basketball broke the scoring record for any like women's basketball team in any division. They scored 172 points, made 40 free throws, had 32 steals, just robbing people blind.
Yeah.
They won by like 90.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Did you see the clip of the UT Martin Bradley game? Or UT Martin player shot a 3. It missed, bounced off the rim, hit a Bradley player in the head, and then bounced into the basket. So, like in soccer, it's called an own goal.
Yeah.
In hockey, it's called an own goal. I presume. What is that? What is that? Who do you credit for the point?
I don't know.
Is that
a team 3? Is that a team bucket?
I think.
We gotta go back in the box score, see what it says.
There is always that column that row at the bottom. It's always just
it's like team
empty.
rebounds. Yeah. Well, okay, so like I wonder. You remember a couple of years ago when there was that free throw rebound, and Jordan Geronimo was it in the NCAA tournament? He smacked it off the ground and it just went in. Yeah. And he was like, turns out this counts as a rebound, and it's like, what does this count as? Because obviously the Bradley player's not going to get credit for it, but like.
Does he get 2 points subtracted from his?
Does the UT Martin player get an assist? Assist to no one?
I don't know.
Who gets a rebound? Someone does. Hear me out. Bradley gets a team rebound, but UT Martin gets points.
That makes I feel that
team points.
Is that second chance points?
Good question. I don't know.
But that was pretty wild. Another thing, North Texas against Oregon State. This was wild to me. Game was tied 64-64. North Texas was running the ball up the court. Guy got double teamed, couldn't do anything. Called timeout with 1.4 seconds left. North Texas was out of timeouts when they called that timeout.
Mm-hmm.
Tie game, 1.4 seconds left. Oregon State gets to go to the line for 2 technical free throws. Oregon State wins the game 66-64 because they called a timeout with no timeouts left.
You know what? It just makes me miss Titus and Tate even more, because I think One Shining Pod still has that intro where they had, it was a timeout, they're out of timeouts, technical foul. Like, it's happened before. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened before. That's got to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
That has got to be embarrassing.
Heartbreaking. Another possible season-ending injury. Adam, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, dude. This is the Maryland one.
Yeah.
Pharrell Payne was like going up for a dunk, and he like hung on the rim a little bit and came down, and we were talking about this, like slipped on sweat or something. Like it looked like he was gonna make a clean landing, and then all of a sudden his legs just like flailed out like a cartoon, and he hit the ground hard. Was like stretchered off. Just season-ending injury, maybe.
I can only imagine. Like
We'll
they haven't
see.
come out and said. They've said we've got it written down as a lower body injury. They've said it's a hip injury, but like don't really know. Obviously, they're gonna keep a lot of it close to the
Yeah.
close to like the team until they really know more. But nonetheless, Maryland did get a win over Marquette, 89-82. Was Buzz Williams' first game back at Marquette, which I did not realize. One, I've tended to, I told Adam this earlier, I've tended to forget that Buzz Williams is at Maryland now. And it just looks weird to me every time I see it. But it's just weird. It's been 11 years and he hasn't gone back to play a game against, I don't know if it's a game against Marquette or just a game at Marquette on the road, but strange. Or not strange, but cool to see that he was able to go back and get that. I've always been a Buzz Williams guy.
Yeah.
I like him. Do you see Green Bay took Minnesota to overtime?
Yeah, I did.
Which is, I don't know if that's good for Green Bay or bad for Minnesota.
Podcasters. That's what it's good for. That's what it's good for.
No, talk show hosts.
Sorry.
And then another women's basketball note I wanted to throw in there. D3, the Scranton Royals, word to the office. They beat Pitt women's basketball 69-60.
Nice.
So,
yeah, impressive.
Yeah. And that's all I had that I wanted to touch on from a.
Yeah, let's talk about games for next week. So on Monday the 17th, it's not feast week yet, but we're getting close. So there are some pretty decent games here. So on Monday the 17th, our game of the day is VCU at NC State at 7 p.m. VCU's been pretty good this year. They have the star freshman who we talked about last week, and they're going to go play Will Wade's NC State team. So should be a pretty interesting matchup. Going to feel like a Power 5 matchup, but it's VCU at NC State.
Yeah, and then on Tuesday the 18th, our games of the day is the Champions Classic. I love this MTE, really. I think it's really cool. It's not really an MTE, but I love this matchup that they do. This what the challenge, I guess, classic. It's Kentucky against Michigan State. That's at 6:30, and that game is followed by Duke, Kansas at 9. So glad that we have on YouTube TV, so I could watch that game.
Thank goodness.
Those games. That's Tuesday. Check out the Champions Classic. It's always a good time every year.
It's late this year, is what it is. It's normally like the first or second week. It needs to start off this season.
The third week.
Yeah, it's crazy. On the 19th, Wednesday, our game is Arizona at UConn at 7 p.m. So Alabama also plays Illinois and Chicago after that at 9. So pretty good games that week or that day. But Arizona at UConn, Arizona beat Florida already, and I think that'll be the makings for a really good game on a sneaky good Wednesday night slate.
And then on Thursday the 20th, we've got High Point versus UIC. That's in Daytona Beach at 2:30 p.m. USI will be playing one of those teams on the 22nd in the Boardwalk Battle. So there's some implications for our in-state teams in that matchup.
And then on Friday the 21st, BYU play Wisconsin at 5 p.m. in Salt Lake City. It's this like weird MTE-ish like light thing. I don't know, man. It's like these teams are like signed on for like a couple of games, but they're like random days and like random locations. It's called the Bad Boy Mower Series. Like this is why we got BYU North Carolina. We got Wisconsin, Oklahoma from this. This is why we had St. John's, Michigan. Like a whole bunch of different games. I don't know what the deal was with this, but it's interesting. I appreciate that they're giving us some high profile matchups. So BYU and Wisconsin play.
Saves money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we want to put our name on something, but we want to do it as minimal as possible.
Yeah, we're not going to pay for you to stay here for 3 days.
Yeah. And then Saturday the 22nd, we've got Minnesota against San Francisco at 4:30. They're playing this in the South Dakota Pentagon.
I like the Pentagon.
Yeah.
The one in South Dakota. On Sunday the 23rd, we have Middle Tennessee, Murray State at 6:30. It's the first game in the Cayman Islands Classic, and Murray State's been pretty dang good all year. So we just saw Middle Tennessee beat Evansville, right? They played Evansville.
Yes.
And held them off. And obviously, Evansville will play Murray State at least once later on this year. So, little matchup there. All right, it's that time. Since it's been that time, Jaren, I don't remember who went first. It's me, right? I give you the clue first? Because you first week you wanted to guess first. I don't remember. Come to the VOD.
Definitely not doing that.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You give me yours first.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yes. No.
All right. So share this one with a real ball knower who can get this one. So my week 3 guess the game is not Ohio State. Sails on the golden horizon.
What?
Not Ohio State. Sails on the golden horizon.
Not Ohio State. So I think Cleveland State, just we talked about them so much today.
Okay.
And Cleveland is in Ohio. What other state schools are in Ohio? Cincinnati?
Pay attention to the whole clue.
Not
Ohio State. Sails on the golden horizon.
The golden horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what that.
You're missing.
But I have no idea what that could mean. Golden horizon. I don't even have a remote idea.
Yeah, you do. You're very close. You're very close. You want to guess one of the teams?
I'm gonna say Cincinnati, and then the Golden Horizon. I think of the Horizon League. Is that a Cleveland State?
Okay, I will give you one more guess, but I will tell you. I will tell you Cleveland State is correct.
Okay.
Horizon. They're in the Horizon League.
Okay.
Sails, the Norse, right?
Yeah.
The not Ohio State part is very important. That's the part of the clue you're missing.
Not Ohio
State.
The Ohio Cleveland State?
No, you're so close. There are about 1 million not Ohio State schools in Ohio. There's Cleveland State. The one you were looking for was Kent State. There's a ton of not. I was looking at this. I was like, there's a lot of not like Kent State, Wright State,
right,
Ohio State, but they're all not Ohio State.
When I was just thinking Ohio because it's not.
Yeah, not Ohio State.
Yeah, state.
It's not Ohio State. It's Cleveland State at Kent State, 2 p.m. on Saturday, November 22nd. You got the goal. You got the Cleveland State immediately, and it was like the not Ohio State thing was like it's both of them. Both of them are not states.
Yeah,
But they are states. The state, not state schools. My favorite kind of school.
Yeah. Okay. My guess the game for you, Adam, is the Devilish Priests versus the Colorful Marauders in the Pirates Republic.
The Devilish Priests?
Yes.
In the what? Colorful?
Versus the Colorful Marauders in the Pirates Republic.
Devilish Priests. Devilish Priests? Delta Devils? America's team? Devilish Priests. And you say Colorful Marauders?
Yes.
I assume it's some MTE or Devilish Priests. Makes it, I mean, like the Blue Demons, the Demon Deacons, so it's probably DePaul, right? Who would they play? Who would DePaul play? I'm going to lock in DePaul. And then Colorful Marauders. And I can only assume there's some sort of MTE involved. Colorful Marauders. That one's tripping me up. I'm gonna say DePaul, East Carolina. That's my guess.
See, you had your mascot wrong. DePaul's the Blue Demons or the Blue Devils.
Oh, it's
but
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Aren't they just the Deacons now?
Are they?
I don't know. Real-time fact check.
I mean, we know them as the Demon Deacons. But it is Wake Forest at Texas Tech, the Red Raiders.
Interesting.
Colorful Marauders. And that is in the Baha Mar Championship, or it's one of the Baha Mar MTEs in Nassau, Bahamas. Nassau is commonly known as the Pirates Republic due to the influx of piracy that occurred back in the golden years of ocean travel.
Back when people were like cool and being pirates, you know, singing sea shanties and stuff.
Yeah, but that is Wake Forest at Texas Tech Thursday, November 20th at 8:30 p.m. So last week you mentioned that all of your guess the games have a trend. It's the trend that they're all Friday games.
No, my game was a Saturday game this week.
Damn, because the two things that it had in common between the last two that you've given me, both had Big Ten teams.
Yeah,
both were Friday games. So I had it narrowed down to one of those two things. It wasn't a Big Ten team today. So I was like, okay, and then I couldn't remember what day you said it was.
Yeah, this one was Saturday.
So
I almost picked a Friday game, but I was going to do it to throw you off.
So neither of those are your.
Nope, that's not it. Not Friday games. I'll tell you at the end of the season.
Are they all in-state games?
Nope. I don't even remember what I picked last week.
Last week was
Northwestern at DePaul.
Yes, it was
Rice at Oregon's not. Rice is in Texas.
I genuinely didn't know where Rice was.
I only know where Rice is because my cousin did a music interview there. Actually, that might be where he went to school. He did a music interview at IU, and then he did one at.
I can't possibly think of what the
connection is
because there's. I like trends. I look at trends, and there's just no trend that I've been able to identify.
Means it's a good one. Need more data. One-time math major. But yeah, I mean that's.
I'm gonna type in each of the three matchups, and I'm gonna tell it to tell me what they have in common.
But yeah, I mean things are really, really heating up with the state of Indiana. I mean you've got Purdue should be number one again. Indiana looking pretty good in 3 of their 4 games, and Indy playing like the 208th best team in the country. So things are looking good for Indiana, and I hope you are enjoying your little appetizer for feast week this upcoming week. So we'll see you next week, and if you don't already, follow us on some social medias. We're posting a little bit more now that the season's going on. We got more things going on, and got more to talk about. So we'd love to have you.
We'll do the rest of the intro since you already.
I already did the intro. This is the outro.
The rest of the outro. The clock is showing quadruple zeros, so it's time for us to get out of here. Thanks for checking in on the State of Basketball podcast. We will see you next time. And remember, in 49 states,
it's just basketball.